Welcome to Arizona Sonora News, a production of the University of Arizona School of Journalism. I'm Carson Courier.
And I'm Jazz Ramos.
The cost of attending college continues to rise, and with that, the cost to park on campus goes up as well. At the U of A, parking permits can cost up to $700. Students and guests want to know where all the money they pay is going. Marketing and Public Information Officer for UA Parking and Transportation has the answer.
38% goes towards the parking program, 18% goes towards alternative transportation, and 3% goes to maintenance, and 40% goes off to paying debt for the garages as well as administrative costs.
As a result of parking prices, some students are looking to rideshare services to avoid parking costs.
Rideshare services like Lyft and Uber are seen as a convenience to many, but at the end of the day, how safe is getting into a stranger's car? Arizona Sonora News reporter Sienna Leone has two women's stories.
Arizona State University senior Tristan Hardy did not see any harm in Ubering alone until she had an incident with a male driver last October.
The questions were just like getting more intimate, being like, wow, like that outfit you're in, like I could just rip that off, and so I was texting my friend just being like, hey, call me 911.
Her driver told her to hang up her phone and went into explicit detail about what he would do to her if he took her home.
At this point now, we're at a red light, and he pulls his pants down, and he's in white boxers, and he just outlines his with his hand.
University of Arizona student Mia also had an incident with a rideshare driver leading to harassment via social media. She is now worried about privacy and asked us to protect her identity.
I started getting DMs on Instagram from this man, and it turned out that he was my Uber driver, and he was saying, how are you feeling? Do you remember I dropped you off at Campus Health? And I responded just being like, yeah, thank you. I just thought it was weird, and then he just started sending more and more messages.
The 20-year-old believed it would end there, but it escalated.
I was at the roof of the apartment where I live on campus, and this man is walking back and forth across me on the roof, and he sits down and he says, oh, are you Mia? I was your Uber driver when I brought you last year to Campus Health when you were very sick.
The uninvited visit ended with him trying to get into her apartment. She didn't report the incident.
I think I didn't because it happened over a span of a couple months. It wasn't right away, so I didn't really think it was a problem.
Reporting problems can also be difficult. Hardy reported hers to Uber 8 times. She is disappointed how they responded.
I went in vicious detail of everything that they said, and they just said, okay, your trip's been refunded, the $8.99 it is, we'll handle it internally.
We reached out to Uber a number of times for their comment on how they ensure safety for their passengers as well as their drivers. Although we never heard back, the head of Uber wrote a blog post on Uber safety, and in the blog post he stated, I'm announcing several new improvements to double down on safety in our app, strengthen our screening process, and bring a new powerhouse advisor on board to help shape Uber's next chapter. Uber's CEO ensured that by summer of 2018, new features like Safety Center, Trusted Contacts, 911 assistance, annual background checks, and expanding their safety advisory board would be introduced. But even with these added features, there are still problems.
I've asked at least 100 girls and students in particular, and I have gotten, I would say 95% of them have told me, at least 95% of them have told me they've had at least one incident where they felt uncomfortable.
Sharon is a rideshare driver and says that she gives her passengers tips on how to avoid an uncomfortable rideshare.
If the drivers start saying things that are inappropriate, sometimes, especially if you're drunk, people will start laughing. And that can give them the message, oh, I'm flirting, and they like it. And, so you have to really go in there with an openness of knowing kind of how you're presenting yourself.
She says if you're riding alone, the safest place to sit is directly behind the driver's seat. University of Arizona Police Department officer Ramon Moreno says that when he gets a call about an uncomfortable rideshare, he deals with it the best he can.
And we'll respond directly to that location, and then we'll get all the information from them firsthand. If the driver is still in the area, we'll attempt to make contact with that driver, whether it's stopping that car or sometimes they're there waiting for us as well. But initially we go to the student, and then if we need to, we'll contact the company.
Officer Moreno urges people to be aware of their surroundings and to use safety features like the Live Safe app. The app allows you to share your location with your friends and have quick and easy access to press a button that will quickly notify police and on-campus authorities. If you are ever in an uncomfortable rideshare situation, make sure you report it to the police and ride-sharing company. For Arizona Sonora News, I'm Sienna Leone.
Next, we dive deeper into Arizona's water crisis.
And learn more on water conservation after the break.
Welcome to Arizona Sonora News. And down with the water. Welcome back. What's the future for Arizona water following the signing of the drought contingency plan? Arizona is currently in the midst of a 19-year drought leading to extremely low levels in the Colorado River. Lake Mead, which is a major reservoir for the Colorado, provides Arizona, Nevada, and California their main sources of water. A multi-state drought contingency plan was approved by the Arizona legislature on January 31st. Due to Lake Mead's record-breaking water shortage. It has been decades since Arizona has dealt with a similar water initiative.
The last major water initiative we were able to accomplish was the Arizona Groundwater Management Act. That's nearly 40 years ago.
There is no overnight fix for raising the levels in Lake Mead and ending the effects of the drought.
We're not seeing our way out of this long-term drought, despite the fact that it may be raining for a day or two in the wintertime here in Tucson. And so we have to figure out how to manage to avoid a crash of the river, of the lake, so that water deliveries can continue.
If you're worried that the tap is going to run dry in Tucson, don't be. Tucson Water has been pumping 144,000 acre-feet of water into aquifers every year, and only using 100,000 acre-feet to meet water demands.
Today, we have about 5 years worth of water. We also have rights to pump. We probably have about a 30 to 40 year supply of groundwater that we are legally able to pump.
The average Arizona resident won't see immediate changes. Most of the cuts will affect farmers as they plan to dig more wells to make up for the river losses. But the DCP is a short-term fix. It is only in effect until 2026. Experts say the key for the future will be water conservation. For more on that, we turn to reporter Alex Eshelman.
Every day, according to the Department of Water Resources, the average Arizonan uses 100 gallons of water. But when it comes to Arizona's water supply, the drought contingency plan leaves some people planning to conserve. Sierra Club Director Sandy Barr says the DCP will only fix the Colorado River shortage until 2026.
It's Arizona acting like we don't have a water problem, and that's ridiculous.
The river supplies water to Arizona in 6 other states. State Representative Kristen Ingalls says Arizona is the most junior in the agreement, meaning the state gets last priority on water supply.
This is really an issue of Arizona's law.
I think we've sort of been ignoring this issue or not really taking it as seriously as we need to, and we're really just starting to grapple with it. And I think you're going to be reading more and more about this, and policymakers, we're all going to have to roll up our sleeves and come up with water-efficient solutions for all of us.
Speaking of solutions, the Watershed Management Group, or WMG, is an organization that educates people about ways to cut back on water. WMG teacher Kathleen Marin says Arizonans can increase the state's water supply by adding new technology to their everyday lives.
Why even get desperate? Why not start right now with conserving water, using water smartly, and then prevent a drought. Prevent that time when you go to the bathroom and you go to wash your hands and you turn on and you yell, "There's no water," because that's going to happen.
Arizona state lawmakers are working to perfect the plan's implementation so water will flow into Arizona. Reporting for Arizona Sonora News Service, I'm Alex Eshelman.
Eating healthy can be hard when you're on the go. The University of Arizona is making a push to provide healthier food options on campus. Naisha Aguilar Rivera, the Marketing and Communications Manager for the Arizona Student Unions, says Enrich Market and Planted workshops benefit more than just students.
We're in the heart of Tucson, central Tucson, so we're kind of the heart of the surrounding area, Sam Hughes, the Tucson community, and we know that we get visitors across town. We want to make sure that they can also eat healthy here on campus.
Aguilar says the UA plans to expand the nutritional options to students, starting with the new dining hall at the Honors Village dorms, which is currently under construction.
Roughly 1 in 6 Americans get sick from food-borne illnesses each year. Harmful bacteria like Salmonella and E. coli can contaminate produce during production. Reporter Sierra Burke has more on the story.
In 2018, 382 food recalls were issued, averaging more than one every day of the year. So far, in the first 7 weeks of 2019, the Food and Drug Administration has announced nearly 3 dozen, keeping pace with last year's amount. For foods regulated by the FDA, undeclared allergens were responsible for the highest percentage of recalls. UA freshman Davis Ong lives with a medium to severe peanut allergy, so undeclared ingredients can be deadly.
If I ate too much of it, it would eventually cause anaphylactic shock and I could die.
Davis was hospitalized a few times from accidentally eating peanuts. He is advised to carry an EpiPen with him everywhere he goes.
Of course, I look at the label if it says it contains, because they always should have the allergy information on the back. Usually I'll look for contains peanuts, contains tree nuts.
RX bars like these were recalled because of undeclared traces of peanuts, making shoppers concerned about products they trust. At Food Conspiracy Co-op on 4th Avenue, the produce manager Todd Stadlander sees firsthand the start of recalls.
We get emails from all of our distributors. As soon as the recall goes out, it usually goes to all of them, and then they forward it to us.
Within minutes, the flagged item is pulled off the shelf. Stadlander says Food Conspiracy also buys locally grown meats and produce from farms he trusts.
I order from farms where the bigger guys, they just order what they need and don't know necessarily what farm it is or where it's coming from until it arrives.
Not only do people have to watch what they eat, but what their pets eat too. Last year, a consumer filed a $5 million lawsuit against Ainsworth Pet Nutrition, alleging that Nutrish contains an undisclosed dangerous herbicide called glyphosate.
Guinness.
New dog owner Chris Edwards just adopted Guinness.
We didn't look at the ingredients because we simply just didn't know that there was a food recall for dogs, which is kind of concerning.
Luckily, Chris feeds Guinness a flavor of Nutrish that was not recalled. Pima Animal Care Center spokesperson Nikki Rex says dogs react differently to foods.
Take them to the vet as soon as you can and find out if it is an allergy, because if your food is not good for the dog, it could be, even more harmful in the long term.
Ensuring the safety of consumers big and small. For Arizona Sonora News, I'm Sierra Burke.
The FDA plans on improving the process companies use to issue a public warning on a recall and the time frame it's done in. After the break, we learn how plants are helping people get jobs.
And we'll show you a room where Tucsonans are taking out their frustrations next.
Arizona Sonora News has prepared me because not only is it reporting, but it's all aspects we're working on. We're working on editing, we're working on shooting, so I think literally everything we're learning in this class just will be so great for when we enter the real world very soon.
Sort of like a real newsroom where you collaborate with the other students, and so you have your videographer, you have the reporter, the producer. So I feel like going into a real newsroom in the future, I'll definitely have that experience and I'll be very used to what it's actually like. for watching Arizona Sonora News.
A local nonprofit is changing people's lives one plant at a time. To the naked eye, this local plant nursery looks nothing out of the ordinary. But if you take a closer look, you'll see the power these plants hold.
They all can work, they all have strengths, and we just have to find out what that is and use it.
Around 12% of the population in Arizona has a disability. Programs like Desert Survivors helps give employment training to more than 26,000 people who are unemployed with a disability.
First day here, I was not exactly a good person. I came from streets, I did all that, and then having a job made me be more mature.
Since 1981, Desert Survivors has provided people with disabilities a place to work, learn skills, and build relationships. Stories like Nick Magda's, Desert Survivors' first ever mentor, is first-hand proof of the work that goes on at the nursery.
While the mentors find comfort in getting their hands dirty,
others around Tucson find comfort in a new type of business called a rage room.
Rage rooms are popping up all over the U.S., including Arizona. Some people are calling them a new form of therapy. Reporter Sasha Fruhoff has more.
The dentist's office can be a stressful place. Not just for the patient, but for the dentists as well. Jeremy and Ashley have owned their own dental practice for over 5 years.
I'm a single mom, I have 2 kids, I run a dental practice, I'm just always stressed out.
I mean, there's a lot of stress. Dentists have the highest suicide rates.
To cope, Ashley and Jeremy go to Breaking Point, Tucson's rage room.
So this is great for it because it relieves all that stress and gets you out of that professional environment that you're in all the time.
Co-owner Ian Franolovich says a lot of his customers call the experience therapeutic.
Some people are dealing with some hard things, and traditional therapy isn't helping them, in that moment. So they want something tangible and they can hold and break. And we provide a way to do that safely and nobody gets hurt.
Most people I've talked to said breaking stuff feels great, but some mental health professionals are a little worried.
The neurochemistry involved, it can be a real reinforcer.
Licensed therapist Susan Barrett advises against going to a rage room if you suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, depressive episodes, or panic disorders.
If they feel good afterwards, that's great. Go and have some fun. But if that is going to be your go-to place every time you get angry, or if you're building it into your schedule, it may be having a reinforcing effect on the anger and not dealing with the core of what's really bothering you.
But for people like Ashley and Jeremy, Breaking Point is the perfect release.
Take all your energy into that one little thing, all your stress, all your violence, all your anger, anything you have that's built up, and you hit into that one thing and just to see it fly everywhere. I mean, it's actually kind of gratifying.
The couple says they can't wait to share Breaking Point with their friends and family. For Arizona Sonora News, I'm Sasha Fruhoff.
Thank you for watching this edition of Arizona Sonora News. I'm Jazz Ramos.
And I'm Carson Courier. See you next time.